This is Bishop John Doerfler of the Diocese of Marquette. Some time ago, one of my friends got a new rifle and scope and was careful to properly sight or calibrate the scope. I learned from him that if someone simply mounts a scope on a rifle without sighting it, lines up the crosshairs on a target 100 yards away and pulls the trigger, it is unlikely that the bullet will actually hit the target. The scope has to be properly adjusted in order to aim with accuracy. Similarly, we too need some calibration to make true judgments about right and wrong. In the last message, we reflected on the 7th and 10th commandments, thus completing our reflections on the commandments. In this message, I would like to reflect on the formation of our conscience. What is our conscience? Conscience is a judgment that we make with our reason, in which we recognize whether an action is good or evil. The judgment of conscience can be about an action that we have already done, as in an examination of conscience, one that we are about to do, or one that we are currently doing. Conscience is not a feeling that we have. Forming our conscience is similar to sighting a rifle scope. Just as a scope cannot be adjusted any way we want and expect to hit the target, so also our conscience needs to be properly calibrated so that we can make true judgments about what is right and wrong. Just as we need an objective standard to sight a scope and thus aim accurately, so also we need an objective standard to form our conscience and make accurate judgments about right and wrong. We have a moral obligation to form our conscience, which is a lifelong task. We form our conscience most of all by opening ourselves to the sacred scriptures and the teaching of the Church. Remember that God has established right and wrong. The gifts of the Holy Spirit support the formation of our conscience too. It is also helpful to look to the advice of wise and holy people who are living examples of the sacred scriptures and the teaching of the Church. The lives of the saints provide the best examples. We frequently hear it said that we are to follow our conscience. Of course, this presumes that we have properly formed it. Otherwise, just as one is likely to miss the target if his scope is uncalibrated, so also it is likely that our judgment about right and wrong will be inaccurate if our conscience is not well formed. This is Bishop John Doerfler of the Diocese of Marquette.